There's a quiet revolution happening, and most people are completely missing it. For decades, the world has been designed for extroverts. Loud voices, open-plan offices, social performance. The person who speaks the most gets the most credit. The person who fills the silence is assumed to be the most confident, the most capable, the worthiest of leadership. But research in neuroscience and clinical psychology is beginning to tell a very different story. Studies prove that introverts consistently outperform extroverts in critical thinking, long-term planning, and depth of emotional intelligence. And yet, the world keeps calling them too quiet, too reserved, too much in their own heads. Today, we are focusing on the hidden power of introverts, the psychological strengths that most people never see, the cognitive advantages that extroverts routinely underestimate, and the quiet force that has been operating beneath the surface this entire time. If you have ever been told you are too quiet, too serious, or too deep, this video is for you. Stay with us. Number 1, their thinking never stops, even when they are silent. If this sounds like you have been called quiet, but your inner world is anything but. Understand what is actually happening inside that silence. The introvert brain, according to neuroscience research, uses a fundamentally different neural pathway than the extrovert brain. Studies show that introverts rely more heavily on the acetylcholine pathway, a neurotransmitter associated with focused attention, deep reflection, and internal processing. While the extrovert brain seeks external stimulation to feel alert, the introvert brain generates its own. It is always running, always analyzing, always making connections that no one else in the room has made yet. This is the first layer of the power of introverts that most people never see. The quiet person is not disengaged. They are processing at a depth that conversation would actually interrupt. Their silence is not absence, it is concentration. Number 2, they observe what everyone else performs through. Here's something most extroverts do not realize. While they are filling the room with energy, the quiet person in the corner is reading it. Introverts are, by nature and by habit, extraordinarily perceptive observers. Because they are not preoccupied with managing their own social output, crafting the next thing to say, projecting confidence, holding the room, their attention is genuinely free to study the environment. They notice the shift in someone's posture mid-conversation. They catch the micro-expression that flickers across a face before the smile settles. They hear what is underneath the words being said. Research in social cognition suggests that people who spend more time in observational mode develop significantly stronger social pattern recognition over time. This is the quiet power of the introvert in social settings. They are not participating less, they are perceiving more. And when they finally do speak, it's usually because they have already seen something no one else caught.
Number 3, their words carry weight because they choose them carefully. Pay attention to this one because it explains something about quiet people that most people misread entirely. When an introvert speaks, be it in a meeting, in a conversation, in a moment of conflict, they have already thought through what they are going to say before they say it. They do not speak to fill space. They do not speak to be heard. They speak when they have something worth saying. And that discipline, built over years of preferring depth over volume, produces a quality of communication that is rare and disarming. According to experts in communication psychology, selective speaking is one of the highest forms of conversational authority. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote that we should waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. The same principle applies to communication. Wasting no words arguing for attention, introverts simply command it when they choose to. This is one of the most underestimated forms of the power of introverts. Extroverts fill silence. Introverts make silence work for them. Number 4, they build deep bonds instead of wide networks. In a world obsessed with followers, connections, and contacts, the introvert's approach to relationships can look like a weakness from the outside. A small circle, selective socializing, reluctance to small talk. But here's what the research actually shows. Studies in relationship psychology consistently find that the quality of emotional bonds, not the quantity of social contacts, is the most accurate predictor of long-term well-being, resilience, and even career success. Introverts, who invest deeply in a small number of relationships rather than broadly in many, tend to build the kind of trust and loyalty that most people spend their entire lives searching for. Clinical psychology describes this as relational depth, the capacity to hold space for another person's full complexity without needing them to perform or simplify themselves. Quiet people do this naturally. They are not networking, they are genuinely connecting, and the people they connect with tend to feel it in a way they cannot always explain. Number 5. Solitude is their laboratory, not their prison. One of the most persistent misconceptions about introverts is that they are lonely, that their preference for solitude is a symptom of social failure, something to be fixed, outgrown, or overcome. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of the introvert's psychology. Research in habit science and creativity studies shows that the highest levels of creative output, strategic insight, and intellectual breakthrough occur most frequently in states of solitude. Not in brainstorming rooms, not in collaborative workshops, in quiet, in aloneness, in the undisturbed interior space that introverts guard carefully and inhabit naturally. For instance, Carl Jung, himself a deeply introverted thinker, wrote that the richest conversations are the ones we have with ourselves. The introvert who retreats to recharge is not hiding from the world. They are doing the work that the world will eventually benefit from. Solitude is where the power of introverts compounds. It is where they become more themselves.
Number 6. They process emotion at a deeper level. You may not even realize you do this, but if you are an introvert, you likely do not just feel emotions, you study them. Neuroscience research using brain imaging has found that introverts show significantly greater activation in the regions of the brain associated with introspection, self-awareness, and emotional processing, specifically the prefrontal cortex and the anterior insula. This means that when an introvert experiences an emotion, they do not simply react to it, they track it, they examine its origin, they follow it backward to its root cause. This is the foundation of what clinical psychology calls emotional intelligence, the ability to accurately recognize, interpret, and regulate emotional experience. And it is something that quiet people develop almost automatically through years of internal reflection. They are not emotionally guarded, they are emotionally precise. There is a profound difference between those two things. Number 7. They are immune to herd thinking. Here is one of the most strategically powerful aspects of the introvert's mind, and one that extroverts rarely account for. Because introverts naturally retreat into independent thought rather than seeking social consensus, they are far less susceptible to groupthink, the psychological phenomenon where collective social pressure overrides individual critical judgment. Research in organizational psychology has found that introverted leaders and thinkers are significantly more likely to challenge consensus, identify overlooked risks, and arrive at unconventional solutions, precisely because they have not outsourced their reasoning to the group. The Stoic philosophers understood this centuries before modern psychology named it. Epictetus wrote that the first step towards freedom is recognizing which judgments belong to you and which ones you have borrowed from others. Quiet people, by temperament and habit, tend to form judgments from the inside out. That independence of mind is not antisocial. It is one of the rarest and most valuable cognitive assets a person can possess. This is the power of silence working at its highest level, not as the absence of noise, but as the protection of clear thought. Number 8. Their patience is a form of strategic power. In a culture that rewards speed, Fast responses, instant reactions, rapid decisions, the introvert's natural tendency towards patience can look like hesitation, like uncertainty, like weakness. It is none of those things. According to experts in decision science, the quality of a decision is almost always inversely correlated with the speed at which it was made under social pressure. Introverts, who are less driven by the need for immediate social approval, are naturally more willing to sit with ambiguity, resist premature conclusions, and wait for the moment when clarity arrives on its own terms. This is a rare and profound form of strength. The quiet person who does not react immediately is not slow. They are disciplined. They understand, instinctively if not consciously, that the most powerful move is often the one you choose not to make yet. That is the power of introverts operating in real time. It looks like stillness, is actually mastery. Closing thoughts. Dear viewers, those are 8 hidden dimensions of the power of introverts that the world consistently underestimates. The world will keep celebrating the loudest voices. It always has. But the evidence in neuroscience, in psychology, in philosophy, and in history keeps pointing to a different truth. The quiet power of introverts is not waiting to be unlocked. It is already there. It has always been there. It just doesn't announce itself. It simply produces results. So here is your reflective question for today. What is one strength you carry as a quiet person that you have been downplaying or that someone in your life has never fully seen? Let us know in the comments below. We genuinely read them and we want to hear from you. If you learned something new from this video, give it a thumbs up. It helps quieter people find this content when they need it most. And for more videos on psychology, self-development, and understanding the deeper forces shaping who you are, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. We'll see you in the next one.